Well, first, let me say it's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to share my views on these issues that are important to our community. Downtown investment, the downtown development plan, is really an investment in our community. And I looked at it when we first began discussing downtown development 2 years ago as a way to improve the economy of our entire community by making the downtown more attractive for investment and for business and for our young people who we're trying to keep in our community, and for young people who we're trying to entice to come back to our community who may have left after they graduated from college or left to look for jobs. Downtown development was studied for over a year by Gateway Planning, and the master plan was developed to look at downtown tourism, to look at downtown infrastructure in terms of transportation, to look at what could be conducive to business development. And a plan was developed that would help in all of those areas, as well as residential development. I supported that plan, and after a lot of discussion between the two local governments, and discussion that did involve the public as well at 2 or 3 different public meetings, it was determined that the insurance premium tax was the most equitable way to pay for that development. We looked at property tax, we looked at occupational tax, and the insurance premium tax spread that base over the largest segment of the population so that no one group or no individual was taxed any more heavily than anyone else. No matter whether you lived in Owensboro or in Davis County, you actually had the same increase on a percentage basis. And that funding will generate $20 million in revenue, for $20 million in bonding for the county, and about $60 million for the city. And that will pay for downtown projects, which include the new events convention center, widening and improvements on Veterans Boulevard, Smothers Park, some other improvements on Frederick Street, as well as the new events convention center that will be constructed on the old Executive Inn property. And the events convention center actually is the county's contribution to that downtown plan, to the downtown development. And our $20 million has gone toward purchasing part of that property and will go toward the construction of that new facility. And then the city will also contribute financially to that project.
You mentioned the event center and the $20 million from the county. Would you be in favor of increasing the county's investment in the event center if that price tag runs higher than what the $27 million that they're talking about now?
No, I think that the county's contribution is significant, and that we have done a great deal in trying to improve downtown development through that level of funding. There's actually about $10 million built into the contingency plan that the city would have available for that project if it does run over. I think something we have to bear in mind is that we want that facility to be really a crown jewel on the Ohio River that attracts business, that attracts conventions, that attracts tourists. But at the same time, we have to bear in mind that there's a limit to what we can afford to spend on that project. And I think with the money available and the additional money that the city has committed to contributing, that we'll have a facility that all of us will be proud of, and that will bring new business into Owensboro and bring visitors into Owensboro and conferences and the tourist business. So I think we can do it for the amount that we've allocated, and I think we will just have to make sure that we live within our means in terms of the dollars that have been allocated.
As you're aware, the decision to fund the downtown master plan has had some controversy.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that controversy has focused not necessarily on how it's funded, but how that funding was approved by city and county officials. Mm-hmm. How do you respond to that criticism that the public didn't have a chance to weigh in adequately on how downtown should be funded?
Okay. Well, I think, as I mentioned, there were 2 or 3 meetings that were held prior to that, and we actually made some changes in the ordinance that created the new increase in the insurance premium tax. We exempted all health insurance. We put a provision in that ordinance that the increase would expire when the debt service was retired on that $20 million. We also put a provision in at my request that would be reviewed every 5 years, and we would take a look at the rate. And if the insurance premium tax was generating more revenue than we needed to retire the debt, to meet the debt service payment each year, that we would actually lower that tax rate. And that will occur every 5 years, and we'll review that. As I mentioned, we did have some meetings for individuals to come and to offer their input. At the same time, I do understand that this was a major decision, and it actually happened, rather in the midst of the ice storm and the aftermath of that. I had asked that that meeting be postponed because we had at least one major meeting scheduled prior to that vote to be held at the community college to explain to the citizens what we were trying to do and why we were trying to do that. At that meeting, I had hoped to help the public understand that my role and my reason for supporting that was because this was an economic development effort for our county. And Owensboro really is, the downtown is really a doorway to our community. And when individuals come in who are looking to relocate, when businesses come in, they're looking to locate in our community, the downtown is one of the first places they go. And if the downtown is attractive, it says a lot about the community, about the way that it feels about itself, about the investment it's willing to make in itself. And I think an attractive downtown really helps economically. So those are my reasons for wanting to participate in that and for supporting that decision. After the vote was taken, and I knew there were individuals who were upset, who didn't feel like they had a chance to either participate or to offer their input, I did make an effort and actually held 3 meetings throughout the county to talk about the downtown plan, to try to explain to individuals what we were trying to do, what we were hoping to accomplish, and to give them input into that process that had occurred.